Today's Tesla flow confirms a monster breakout on the chart. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to dive into what specifically we saw in the option order flow that went ahead and not only indicated that Tesla may be looking bullish, but also went ahead and confirmed a bullish chart. So the very first thing we have here is about 45 minutes into the trading day, we have level 3 contracts on Tesla. We have two. We have 640 calls for June 25th, and we have 650 calls for June 25th. Those level 3 contracts are indicating aggressive repeat orders, right? So that means that if you see here the 650 calls expiring in 2 days, we had 9 orders, right? So that means a total of $2 million came in the form of 9 orders. That means that repeat orders, there was 9 different orders that came through, 9 different sweeps, whether it was the same institution doubling down on their position or multiple institutions looking to capitalize on the same opportunity. Either way, they came in on these 640 calls and even more aggressive, the 650, which the reason that's so aggressive is because that's even further out of the money. So let's go ahead now and let's go ahead and dive into specifically what was going on here. So if we go ahead and we look at those 650 repeat orders a little bit closer, obviously the first thing that we see is that they're expiring in 2 days. That is a very aggressive bet, right? They're expiring in 2 days. They're anticipating a relatively large short-term move. All right, guys, and if we go up to the top here, really important thing that's really underrated when you're looking at option order flow is these two things right here, and that's going to be your volume number and your open interest number. Now, open interest is the amount of contracts out in the open market, and this updates only once a day. So that's your number going into open, and that's the only time it's going to update. And you see that number is the same throughout all these contracts. But if you look at the volume, it gets larger on every order. And the volume is updating every time a transaction occurs on that contract. Now, when the volume exceeds the open interest, that's usually an indication that there is above average interest in that specific contract. Now, in this case, by 9:45, by 15 minutes into open, we've already traded 33,000 contracts of the 650 calls, and the open interest is only a shade under 20,000, right? So it's already about 60% higher than the open interest 15 minutes into open. That is extremely aggressive, okay? So let's recap real quick. We have short-term expiration, right? Expiring in 2 days. We have out-of-the-money contracts. At this point, Tesla's at about 635 to 640. We'll end this video by taking a deep look into the chart. But right now, let's just say they were between about 635 to 640 at the time that these orders came through. Okay, so you have out-of-the-money expiring in 2 days. Volume is significantly outpacing the open interest. And you have repeat orders. Now, our last indication here that this is a very strong confirmation that Tesla has potential to the upside for a breakout is that all of these orders were sent at the ask. And what that indicates to us is that these institutions are in fact buying these calls because they are aggressively sending these orders at the ask, right? So we know when we trade options, we have a bid and an ask. And the bid is where people are trying to purchase, and the ask is where people are trying to sell. So when you have sweeps come in at the ask, that means that the institutions are willing to pay the highest available price for the contract in order to get into their position. Okay, that's a very bullish position. That means that they're potentially willing to overpay in order to get filled. And you can actually see that when these orders are coming in 5.6, 6.0, 6.0, 5.9, by the time 15 minutes into open, they're already up from 5.6 to 8.0, and they're still coming in, right? So now at this point, they're up about 35%, and the orders are still coming in. So now that's going to end this portion of the video. Now let's just go ahead and take a quick look over to the chart, and we'll see how this flow confirmed a breakout. All right, guys, now the first thing we're looking at here on Tesla is the daily chart. And the first thing that we can go ahead and we can assess from this chart is that our purple line here, the 50-day moving average, we've been below that and we've been holding on to the 200. Now we go ahead and we cross around 642, we go ahead and we cross above that 50-day moving average, and that's a bullish indicator that we now have confirmed an uptrend and have room up to the next moving average, which would be 680. Okay, now if we go ahead and we slide over to the 5-minute time frame, all right, we can see that pretty much right out the gate we go from about 631 to 640. Okay, and keep in mind 641 is our big breakout spot. And now also keep in mind that those 650 calls, the first order came in at 9:34 a.m. All right, so we have 9:34 a.m. we have a huge order come in. So that's the last minute of this candle here. We get continued upside, we run up, and there you go. We run all the way up to 656 by 10:35 a.m. And keep in mind the last order came in at, I believe, 10:15, right? So we had 9 orders come in for a total of $2 million. And at the start, they were coming in when it was at about 640, right? Which confirmed our daily chart, which was showing us a breakout at the exact same spot. Okay, so we had the sweepers come in and buy aggressively at a spot where our chart was also telling us. Okay, so we had the flow and we had our chart telling us that yes, Tesla is in fact primed for a breakout on top of this monster volume here. Okay, so they go ahead and they put their orders in at about 640. Okay, so $640 a share is the price on Tesla at the time these orders come in. By the time they're done coming in, these orders have gone from $10 out of the money to about $6 in the money for a $16 move. All right, these contracts moved over 100%. It was a crazy move. And this is what we're looking for. When we talk about flow confirming our chart, we knew if we look at our daily chart, and if you're using any kind of moving average or Bollinger Bands, linear regression, you know, whatever indicator you're using, even plotting your own support and resistance, it would have shown you that there was a nice breakout spot on Tesla today. And in fact, the institutions confirmed that for us by placing $3 million into weekly sweeps within the first 45 minutes of the market open. All right, guys, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you guys learned something from this. If you have any questions or any feedback, go ahead and drop a comment back below, and we'll be happy to get to you. All right, take care, everybody.